we're asked here to do a couple of things. The first thing we're going to do is describe the domain and range of the original function. Okay, the graph you're seeing right now. Then we're going to describe what f of x plus 2 will do to the graph. Because we want you to see that it doesn't matter what the function is. So we can be looking at function notation and see that as a transformation rather than just plugging something into the function. But that's how we're going to get to writing the new equation tomorrow. And then we're going to actually draw the new graph. So, what is the domain of number 1? All real numbers. And we write that x such that x is contained in the set of all real numbers. Because this graph is going to keep going this way and that way, right and left. It's all real numbers. Okay. Remember, the arrows mean it keeps going. Now, what is the range? This graph starts at -2 and goes up. So your range is y such that y is greater than or equal to -2. Okay, so that's the first thing you're going to do with each graph. Now if we look at f of x plus 2, what happens to the graph when we add 2 on the inside of the function? Moves it to the left 2. Okay? So then we're going to take each of these points that you see on the graph and we're going to move them left 2 and then draw a new graph. See each point I'm moving left 2? And we draw the new function. Okay. So this one is saying for you to find g of -x. What is the domain of the original function? All real numbers, right? Big hint. All parabolas, all absolute value functions have a domain of all real numbers. Because you can plug in any number you want into the function, but we're not going to get every number out. This graph shows us that we only get numbers that are greater than or equal to what? Out of the function, -2. So y is greater than or equal to -2. What? How do we? Right, so what is g of -x? How do we describe that transformation? Reflection in the y-axis. That means that the y-axis becomes like a mirror. So all of this graph gets reflected onto the other side as if you were looking into a mirror. So this point here, that is at -5, -2, moves to +5, -2. And this point here, that's at -4, -1, moves to +4, -1. So we move it, there's my vertex, at +5, -2. Then I have this point here, moves to -5, or -4, -1, and then 6, +6, -1. This point is 3 away from the axis, so my other point is 3 away on the other side, right? Do you see how it's reflecting in this line? So here is a reflection in the y-axis. Okay. So now I want you to finish the front side of the worksheet. Let's look at the back side of the worksheet. Given a table instead of the graph, can we write the new table? So let's first identify what the transformation is going to be. For number 10, f of x minus 1, which way is that? Right. Right 1. Now, if I want to move right, am I going to add or subtract?
Subtract.
If I want to move a number, -2, right 1, that's going to move to -1, right? That's adding 1.
What?
Right? That's why it's opposite.
Yeah.
Because we're moving it +1. Right 1 is +1. So we're going to add 1 to the x's, right? That's how we move horizontally, is we change the x's. So this new table is going to be -1, -5, 0, -2, 1, 1, 3, 7.
Wait, you added to both sides?
No, I only added to the x's. My y's stayed the same. So on number 11, +3 means what? Up 3. So I'm going to add 3 to my y's. So -2, 11. -1, 10. 1, 8. And 2, 9. Okay. Now what about number 13?
Reflection. So it's going to be 1, -2.5.
Don't you flip the signs then?
Yes. Reflection in the x-axis changes the signs of the y values, right? So my x's stay the same, -1, and becomes -2.5. Okay. And then -3, -3.5. Right? Because when we reflected it in the x-axis, we went from positive y values to negative y values, from negative y values up to positive y values. And the x's stayed the same. Okay, so now finish filling out this table, then do 16, 17, and 18. I want you to pay close attention to whether or not the order in which you do the transformations in 16, 17, and 18 make a difference. Okay? So ask yourself when you're done, could I have done this in a different order, and would I have gotten the same graph? Yes.
Is the rest of the sheet